as is befitting a film that really wasted no time at all getting into things, I too, with this review, will just jump straight into it. It was almost immediately apparent what Leigh Whannell, the writer and director of Upgrade, wanted to deliver most to his audience. Some really thrilling and unique action sequences, and more specifically, some very thrilling and unique hand-to-hand combat. In a lot of ways, this entire film really was just shamelessly constructed to allow for and to get to those scenes. And honestly, I didn't mind that specifically. What I'd seen in the trailers action-wise looked very promising, and what I got in the actual film in those mano-a-mano throwdowns did in fact live up to that promise. Technically, those action sequences really were as impressive, if not more impressive, than the ones found in action films with budgets 3 times the size of this one. On Upgrade, Whannell clearly put a lot of effort into creating something very special for those fights, that being to, in key moments, digitally tethering the camera to the lead actor. This ultimately allowed the camera to move in perfect harmony with him as he punched, ducked, lunged, and cartwheeled around. And not only was that really cool to look at, it also, in a very visual way, showed us what it would be like to have that man's strengths and abilities. Having the camera move so perfectly with him really did communicate that feeling of being controlled by some sort of implanted supercomputer. Something else that really made those action sequences sail was actually the lead actor's performance in them. Logan Marshall Green really did this outstanding job of being this very normal guy who suddenly found himself able to brutally combat and kill other people. And even while he was always committed to his revenge mission, his shock and terror over his newfound ability to dispatch of his foes with such ease and deadly precision just added something to those fight scenes. And really, Marshall Green gave a great performance throughout the film, that same hesitancy and unsureness just giving something fresh to his specific revenge plot. And I really did like, too, a couple of the relationships that character found himself in, though often very cliche in the writing, the chemistry and love felt between Gray and his wife really was quite moving and sweet, giving me a great sense of who those two characters were and what they would do for one another. There were also a few solid moments between Gray and his mother, one of them occurring after the lead character had been paralyzed. At that point in the film, his mother was taking care of him, and he just broke down, finally acknowledging the weight of all that had happened to him. And that moment, and a couple of others like it, possessed a fair amount of poignancy and truthfulness. Beyond those aforementioned elements, though, this film really didn't work that well for me. Time and again, I was really just reminded how small this film's budget was in very distracting ways. Whether it was a set that just felt under-production designed, or a car chase or car crash that was about as underwhelming or boring as they come, I was just constantly able to see this writer and director's vision hitting the threshold of his budget. As I already mentioned, it didn't bother me too much that this film's narrative was so very lean. If a filmmaker's primary desire is just to make a bunch of really cool action sequences, go for it. What did bother me, though, was this writer and director's desire to sort of hit me over the head with this message that technology is taking over the world, and if we're not careful, it will control us completely. Not a bad message, per se, just one that I'd seen explored so many times before, and with so much more subtlety, nuance, and intelligence. The plot itself was also extremely predictable. The revelations about who was responsible for certain things, and really who orchestrated the entire sequence of events in this film, were just elements that I saw coming from way too early on. I think, however, the biggest missed opportunity in this film was just the specific pacing and development of the relationship between Stem and the main character of Gray. That Logan Marshall Green character started out the film extremely opposed to technology, literally refusing to succumb to the latest automated car technology by being a mechanic who built old gas-powered cars. And so it could have been very interesting to watch that kind of individual slowly relinquish that control and those biases as he got to know this AI that lived in his head. Instead, the story just constantly charged ahead to the next action sequence, pushing past opportunity after opportunity to develop any real connection. And for all of these reasons, I will give the film a 2.5 out of 5. I would still love to know what you guys thought of the film, though, so definitely comment below and let me know. And finally, please do subscribe. I'm going to continue to review films and television on this channel, and I would love for you to stay up to date on all of those things. But for now, I'm Hartwell. This is The Heartbeat. Thank you for joining me.